Hello, everybody. This is Chris. This NBA playoff episode is long overdue. Me and Miggy both had a bit of a busy weekend, so we couldn't quite hold ourselves accountable to how much we wanted to bring you guys updates. But that means that this gets to be an extra long episode. So I'm going to go over this series by series. So, Detroit, Orlando. The series score as of last night is 3-1 Orlando. Not Detroit, Orlando. So the eighth seed is currently beating the first seed in the East, which is something I was not expecting in a million years. I didn't roll my eight ball correctly. I didn't grab the right cards. I don't know what happened. So last time you guys got an update from me, they'd only played game one. Game two, Detroit won 98 to 83. Cade Cunningham had 27 points, along with 11 assists and 6 rebounds. Tobias Harris was their second leading scorer, again, with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Jalen Suggs had 19 points, and Banchero had 18 points and 8 assists for Orlando. Detroit, in game two, did play to their identity. They played the top quality defense that they had been known for all year. They held Orlando to 32.5% from the field and 25% from three. Detroit had a very dominant third quarter. They scored 38 points to Orlando's 16, which was very key because it was a tie game at halftime. Game three, Detroit scored 105 and Orlando scored 113. So Orlando won game three to go up 2-1 in the series at the time. Banchero had 25 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals. He had a great stat line. Desmond Bane put up 25 points. And Wendell Carter Jr. had 14 points and 17 rebounds. Cade Cunningham had a good game. I say that with sort of question marks because he had 27 points, 9 assists, but he also had 9 turnovers, which is very, very bad. An assist to turnover ratio of 1 is extremely bad for your main ball handler and your main kind of playmaking passer guy. And Tobias Harris had 23 points. Orlando led this game by 17 points with about 8.5 minutes left in the game. Detroit actually managed to take the lead with about 3 minutes left in the game, but then Orlando would go on to get the lead back and hold them off. In game four, which happened last night, Orlando wins 94 to 88. Now, Orlando wins this off of the back of Desmond Bane, who had 22 points. Wendell Carter Jr. had a double-double with 12 points and 11 rebounds. Paulo Banchero had 18 points, 8 rebounds. For Detroit, Cade Cunningham had 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. Tobias Harris had 20 points and 6 rebounds. Now, the really concerning thing about the series for Detroit, mind you, not just the fact that they're down 3-1, but Jalen Duren has been playing really bad. So in the regular season, he averaged 19.5 points a game and 10.5 rebounds a game. He shot 65% from the field and 75% from the free throw line. So pretty good stats and really good as sort of your second option. In these playoffs so far, Jalen Duren is averaging 9 points and 8.5 rebounds. So he's down 10.5 points per game and 2 rebounds per game. And his shooting numbers are also way down. He's shooting 42% from the field and 64% from the free throw line. So Detroit is losing this series partially because they can't take care of the ball. Like their turnovers have been way up this series, but also because their number 2 guy just hasn't shown up. He has not been performing well. So if Detroit is even going to manage a sort of reverse sweep comeback, potentially, Jalen Duren's going to have to wake up. Moving on to the Boston-Philadelphia series. That series is currently 3-1 Boston. Actually, I am wrong. That series is currently 3-2 Boston as of tonight. Philadelphia actually wins game 5. So, after 2 games, the series have been 1-1. So game 3, Boston wins 108 to Philadelphia's 100. Jason Tatum had 25 points and 7 assists. Jaylen Brown 25 points and 7 rebounds. Peyton Pritchard had 15 points off the bench. Remember his name for the next couple minutes. Tyrese Maxey had 31 points and 6 assists. Paul George 18 points. VJ Edgecombe 10 points, 10 rebounds. Boston shot extremely well from the 3-point line. They went 20 for 47, which is good for 42.5%. They're a team that shoots a lot from the 3-point line. It's kind of their main identity. So any night where they're shooting a lot and making a lot, they have a really good chance of winning. VJ Edgecombe kind of had a disappointing night. He did put up 10 and 10, but he shot 0 of 7 from 3. Game 4, Boston wins 128-96. So not nearly as close as game 3. Peyton Pritchard had 32 points off the bench. Jason Tatum had 30 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 20 points and 7 rebounds. Joel Embiid actually made his return in this game, but Philadelphia couldn't manage anything really significant. Embiid had 26 points, 10 rebounds. Tyrese Maxey had 22 points, 6 assists. Paul George had 16 points and 3 steals. Boston, again, shot extremely well from 3. They went 24 of 53, which is good for 45%. Philadelphia was extremely slow out of the gate this game. The first quarter score was 34-18 for Boston. Boston led by 32 at some point in the game. It was their largest lead. And Boston also had a 51-30 rebound advantage. Now, in game 5, Philadelphia gets this win because Joel Embiid puts up 33 points and 8 assists on very efficient shooting. He was 0-5 from 3, but he shot 12 for 23 from the field, which is good 52%. Tyrese Maxey had 25 points and 10 rebounds. Paul George comes with 16 points. Quentin Grimes off the bench with 18 points. Boston kind of put up a fight. I mean, 113-97 is kind of a widespread. Jason Tatum had a good night. He had 24 points, 16 rebounds, he had 3 steals. Jaylen Brown had 22 points. Peyton Pritchard had 12 points, but that's kind of about it. So, by the looks of it, Philadelphia was able to hold Boston to some pretty poor 3-point shooting. Boston shot 11 of 39, which is only 28%, and they managed to come out with the win. So that series is now 3-2 in favor of Boston. So we're on to game 6, which will be in Philadelphia, I do believe. So Philadelphia might actually push this to 7 games, which would be really interesting. New York, Atlanta. So the Knicks-Hawks series, as of tonight, is 3-2 in favor of the Knicks. Knicks won game 5. So last time I gave you guys an update, it was 1-1. Game 3, Atlanta wins 109-108. Jalen Johnson had 24 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. CJ McCollum had 23 points, and Jonathan Kuminga had 21 points. Jalen Brunson had 26 points. OG Anunoby had 29 points and 9 rebounds. Karl-Anthony Towns, 21 points, 17 rebounds. So CJ McCollum, he played spoiler. He made a fadeaway 2-pointer with 12 and a half seconds left to get the lead. Game 4, New York comes back and wins this. They win 114-98. Karl-Anthony Towns, triple-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. OG Anunoby, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, 19 points. CJ McCollum had a solid game, but not as well as he'd been playing the previous couple games. He had 17 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the now crowned most improved player of the year, had 15 points. Jalen Johnson had 14 points. The New York Knicks, they made 4 more field goals on 10 fewer attempts than the Hawks did. They shot 14 for 31, while the Hawks shot 10 for 41. They claimed the lead at about 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter at 15-14 and led the rest of the game. Now for game 5, New York wins 126-97, kind of a non-competitive game. The big scores, Jalen Brunson, he had 39 points and 8 assists. OG Anunoby had 17 points, 10 rebounds. Karl-Anthony Towns had 16 points, 14 rebounds. Jose Alvarado off the bench put up 12 points on very efficient shooting. He was 4 for 7 from the field and 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. On Atlanta's side, Jalen Johnson put up 18 points with 10 rebounds and 6 assists. Dyson Daniels had 17 points. Okonwu and Alexander Walker both put up 16 points. CJ McCollum only with 6, and Jonathan Kuminga put up 13 points. So New York, after having gone down 2-1, they win 2 games in a row to go up 3-2 in the series. And it's been a very fun very fun series, and very competitive, way more competitive than I kind of expected. I expected New York to kind of take this series not easily, but kind of take the lead in the series and hold it until about 6 games. But the fact that Atlanta kind of took the lead 2-1, New York's coming back. So we'll see how this series ends. Another thing I want to point out about game 5, the rebounding difference. The New York Knicks had 48 rebounds, while Atlanta only had 27. So a massive, massive advantage on the boards. And the last Eastern Conference series, Cleveland versus Toronto. This series is now all tied up at 2. After Cleveland won the first 2 games, Toronto managed to win games 3 and 4 to tie it up. Game 3, Toronto won 126 to 104. Scotty Barnes had 33 points and 11 assists. RJ Barrett also 33 points. The rookie Colin Murray-Boyles had 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of which were offensive rebounds. James Harden for Cleveland had 18 points. Donovan Mitchell had 15 points and 0 3-throw attempts. Evan Mobley had 15 points. Max Strus had 15 points. So this game, despite the final score being a 22-point difference, was actually very close for the majority of the game. The game was tied at half, and Toronto held a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter because of a buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter by Scotty Barnes to put them up 83 to 81. Toronto wins this fourth quarter 43 to 23. Jamison Battle puts up 14 points on perfect shooting, 5 for 5 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3. And mind you, all of this was done in the fourth quarter. So Toronto came out in the fourth quarter and just went on a run and just took the game. Toronto did deal with some early foul trouble. However, they shot extremely, extremely well. They shot 14 of 23 from 3, which is good for 61%, and they shot 57.5% from the field overall. So Toronto had a very good offensive shooting game, and they were able to combine that with some good defense. Speaking of defense, game 4, Toronto wins 93 to 89. This game was an absolute slugfest. So Brandon Ingram scores 23 points. Scotty Barnes also scores 23 points, puts up 9 rebounds, 6 assists. RJ Barrett, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Colin Murray-Boyles, 15 points, 10 rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, 20 points. James Harden, 19 points, 8 assists, but 7 turnovers. And Sam Merrill, 14 points. The shooting percentages for this game might be some of the worst shooting percentages in an NBA game. The Toronto Raptors shot 32% from the field and 13% from 3. The Cavaliers shot 37% from the field and 25% from 3. This was a physical defensive game. There were a lot of forced and unforced turnovers. There were a lot of missed shots, both wide open shots and highly contested shots. And Toronto gets this win because that style of basketball, that really gritty, sort of slow-paced, non-skillful kind of game, is what they want to force this series into. Because let's be real, the Cavaliers have the names, they have the top-end skill. And if Toronto lets Cleveland kind of play that skillful game and really offensive style of game, they're going to lose the series. Toronto made this game ugly, and that's why they get the win. Toronto had 10 more field goal attempts than the Cavaliers. Cavaliers had 18 total turnovers to Toronto's 12. And yeah, Toronto has turned this series messy, and that is going to, if they can keep that up, that's going to help them potentially win this series. Now, heading off to the Western Conference. the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Phoenix Suns series. Now, that series ended last night. The OKC Thunder, they swept the Suns. So, game two, OKC won 120 to 107. Shea had 37 points, 9 assists. Chet Holmgren had 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Jalen Williams had 19 points. Uh, Dylan Brooks for the Suns had 30 points and 6 rebounds. Sorry, yeah. And Devin Booker had 22 points, 7 rebounds. Jalen Green had 21 points, but he did have 7 turnovers. Phoenix had 22 turnovers overall as a team, which is not great. Jalen Green, although he put up 21 points, he only shot 8 for 23 from the field and 1 of 8 from 3. So he took more shots than points that he got, which is extremely inefficient for a guy that you're expecting to score for you. Of note, Jalen Williams did leave the game with a left hamstring injury. He left game two. Game three, Oklahoma City wins 121 to 109. Shea puts up 42 points and 8 assists, and AJ Mitchell puts up 15 points. Dylan Brooks with another very good game, 33 points, 7 rebounds. Jalen Green had 26 points, 6 assists. Devin Booker only puts up 16 points but has 7 assists. SGA shot amazing this game. He shot 15 of 18 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and 11 of 12 from the free-throw line. And I have a note here after that game that there's just really not much Phoenix can kind of do against OKC. Like, they are just the better team, and they're just running away with it. Speaking of running away with it, OKC won game 4, 131 to 122. Chet Holmgren puts up 24 points and 12 rebounds. Shea puts up 31 points and 8 assists. AJ Mitchell puts up 22 points. Isaiah Hartenstein has a good game. He puts up 18 points and 12 rebounds. For Phoenix, in their last game of the season, Booker put up 24 points. Brooks put up 23. Jalen Green put up 23. Colin Gillespie put up 20. And, Phoenix, they fought in this game. They shot 53% from the field. They shot 36% from the three-point line. It's tough against a team like the OKC Thunder. And, Phoenix put up a fairly decent fight for 4 games, but we all saw it coming. We all fully expected OKC would kind of just run away with the series, and they did. And they're the first team that have moved on to the second round. Speaking of teams moving on to the second round, San Antonio versus Portland. As of last night, San Antonio is on to the second round. They win this series 4-1. So in game 3, San Antonio won 120 to 108. Stephon Castle had 33 points. Dylan Harper had 27 points and 10 rebounds. Luke Cornett, in Wembanyama's absence, had 14 points, 10 rebounds. Drew Holiday had 29 points and 6 rebounds. Scoot Henderson, 21 points. Denny Avdia had 19 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. As I said, in Wembanyama's absence, Wembanyama went down in game 2 with a apparent head injury. He went into concussion protocol, and he missed game 3. Somehow, Wembanyama came back for game 4, which was a very quick turnaround. San Antonio won 114 to 93. Wembanyama had 27 points, 12 rebounds, 7 blocks, and 4 steals. So I think he was very deserving of that Defensive Player of the Year award. De'Aaron Fox had 28 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Stephon Castle put up 16 points and 8 assists. Denny Avdia, 26 points, 7 rebounds. Drew Holiday, 20 points, 6 rebounds. Jeremy Grant, 17 points. Of note, Denny Avdia and Drew Holiday combined for 11 of Portland's 18 turnovers. So your 2 main ball handlers giving the ball away that much, as can be seen, is going to lead to pretty significant losses. San Antonio kind of fell behind a little bit in the first half. It was sort of close. San Antonio won the second half 73 to 35. They held Portland to only 35 points in the second half. So they win this game based off of their second half performance, really. Game 5, San Antonio wins 114 to 95. De'Aaron Fox puts up 21 points and 9 assists. Wembenyama had 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks. Justin Champagny had 19 points, 7 rebounds. He shot 5 of 7 from 3. On Portland's side, Denny Avdia had 22 points in Portland's last game here. Jeremy Grant had 12 points off the bench. Then you got sort of Grant Williams, Sissoko, and Donovan Clingan was sort of 10 and 11 points. But San Antonio wins this despite Wembenyama's kind of scare. We weren't sure if he returned back in the series, but he returned back in form, and he absolutely he changes every game and every series he's in, but San Antonio shot 55% from the field and 40% from 3 in this game, while Portland only shot 35% from the field and 23% from 3. So San Antonio just outshot them, and San Antonio will go on to the second round. The second last series that we need to go over here is the Denver Minnesota series. So this series is about as tight as I expected it to be, but the series score is kind of flip flopped. So as of right now, Minnesota leads the series 3-2. Back in game 3, Minnesota won 113-96. Ayo Desomnu had 25 points and 9 assists. Jane McDaniels had 20 points, 10 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had 17 points, which is pretty low for him, but he did have foul trouble. He had 5 personal fouls by the end of the game. He had 2 personal fouls before the end of the first quarter, so they had to sit him. He got another personal foul before the half, so he was at 3, and they didn't want to risk anymore. So Anthony Edwards didn't get that much playing time. Rudy Gobert, he had a very good game. He had 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Nikola Jokic, 27 points, 15 rebounds. Jamal Murray, only 16 points. Now, these two shot very poorly this game. Jokic shot 27% from the field. Jamal Murray shot 29%. Denver as a whole shot very poorly. They shot 34% from the field and 25% from 3. Now, mind you, that is in large part due to your 2 top shot takers, Murray and Jokic, shooting very poorly. Game 4, Minnesota wins 112-96. Ayo Desomnu had the game of his life. He scores 43 points. Naz Reid goes for 17 points. Julius Randle, 15 points and 9 rebounds. Jamal Murray puts up 30 points. Jokic puts up 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. Now, Desomnu's 43 points was kind of due to some really unfortunate news for Minnesota. Dante DiVincenzo left the game about a minute and a half in due to an apparent Achilles injury. And Anthony Edwards took a really, really uncomfortable fall later in the game and injured his knee pretty bad. So Ayo Desomnu was kind of the next go-to guy, and he got the win for them. He shot 13 of 17 from the field, which is good for 76.5%. He was 5 for 5 from 3 and 12 of 12 from the free throw line. So he shot almost perfect, except for just 4 2-point misses. Denver shot poorly again. They shot 38% from the field and 21% from 3. Now, game 5, Denver manages to get this much needed win. They win 125-113. Jokic puts up a massive triple-double. He puts up 27 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists. He shoots much better this game. He goes 9 for 15, so that's good for 60%. Jamal Murray has 24 points and 7 assists. And Jones puts up 20 points along with the other 2. For Minnesota, Julius Randle had 27 points. Desomnu had 18 points. Randall also put up 9 rebounds and 6 assists. He shot very well. He shot 53%. Shannon Jr., Bones Highland both had 15 points, and Jaden McDaniels had 13 points. So Minnesota, as a team, shot very well. They went 51% and 43%, while Denver went 57% and 38%. So Very close game. The series is now 3-2 in favor of Minnesota and goes back to Minnesota for game 6. So Denver is going to need to win that, force a game 7 back in Denver, but I'm worried about Minnesota. Whether or not they make it out of this first round, the fact that Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo are now injured and likely long term, like they're both pretty serious and kind of gruesome injuries. If Minnesota manages to get out of this round, I don't know if they get out of the second round. And even now, just with those injuries to basically two of their two main ball handlers, I'm not sure if they can hold on to this series. The last series that we need to go over here is the Los Angeles Lakers Houston Rockets series. This series, as of recording, is 3-1 in favor of Los Angeles. And this series has been just a surprise to me and has kind of exposed Houston. So game 3, the Lakers win 112 to 108 in overtime. LeBron James puts up 29 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, but does have 8 turnovers. Rui Hachimura puts up 22 points. Marcus Smart puts up 21 points, 10 assists, and 5 steals. Alperen Sengun, 33 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, along with 3 steals. Amen Thompson, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Jabari Smith Jr., 24 points, 6 rebounds. LeBron James hits a game-tying three-pointer with 13 seconds left just to force overtime, and then the Lakers win the overtime period. Now, Houston was not lacking in their opportunities. Houston shot 19 more field goals than the Lakers did due to just sort of their offensive rebounding. They only made 2 more. And they only shot 28% from 3. So Houston is not lacking in their opportunities. They're just missing everything. Game 4, must win for Houston because the Lakers were up 3-0. Houston wins 115 to 96. Men Thompson puts up 23 points and 7 assists. Tari Easton puts up 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 steals. Alperen Sengun, 19 points with 6 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton is the Lakers' high scorer in this game with 19 points and 10 rebounds, and he fouled out midway through the third quarter. Rui Hachimura, 13 points. LeBron James, 10 points, 9 assists, 8 turnovers. The Lakers had 24 total turnovers this game, while Houston only had 13. So that's been a big storyline of these playoffs, is just keeping possession of the basketball and just not turning it over. Because all these games, most of them are lost based on turnover difference. Now, upcoming games. This Wednesday, the 29th, the Magic and Pistons play, Raptors and Cavs play, and the Lakers and Rockets play. So, must-win game for the Pistons. Orlando's up 3-1 in that series. Orlando could just close it out and move on to the second round. Raptors and Cavaliers, game 5. That series is again tied 2-2. So whoever wins that kind of just potentially just wins the series. It's a huge momentum game. And then Rockets Lakers. Rockets must win. It's another 3-1 series. Lakers could just close it out. On Thursday, Knicks versus Hawks. That'll be game 6. So New York's up 3-1 on that. Either New York finishes it out or Hawks force a game 7. Celtics 76ers, another 3-2 series. Either Boston finishes it out or Sixers force a game 7. And I know I sound like a broken record, but another 3-2 series. Either Minnesota wins it and moves on, or the Denver Nuggets force a game 7. And other than that, those are the only games right now that are scheduled because those are the only 6 series still remaining. So we'll see in the next couple days if we just have most of our second round matchups decided. The only series that that is guaranteed to not end in the next 2 days is the Toronto Cleveland series. All of the other five of those six series could all potentially end in the next 2 days. So it's a really important sort of midweek basketball. And yeah, that does it for this kind of catch up episode. I want to apologize again for the delay on this, but me and Miggy are probably going to, I'm not sure if he said it in his episode or not, but we're probably going to go down to 2 playoff episodes a week, two for the NBA, two for the NHL. That way, each time we send these out to you guys, there's a little bit more that we get to talk about, and that way there's a bit more time for stuff to happen. So that's all that we've got going on in the NBA right now. And some of these first round series are shaping up to be interesting and kind of disappointing at the same time. I'll talk to you guys later.